Hey everybody, and welcome to this module on creating lead pages using the drag and drop template. So the earlier version was using just the standard old templates, if you will. This is the new drag and drop interface that they have introduced probably within the last year, I'd say. And it really does give you a lot more flexibility when it comes to working in a template. One of the problems I think with the standard templates is you're very limited on what you can change. And here at least you have a lot more features. So we're going to do basically the same exercise, but we're going to use the drag and drop templates instead. So let's get started. So we're going to select a template, this time again looking at the drag and drop templates. We're going to update the content of the page. And as I mentioned, there's a lot more content when it comes to, and maybe not content's a good word, more pieces, I guess, to the template with the drag and drop than there is with a standard template. Customizing the styles, updating your call to action buttons, and integrating with MailChimp, which we already integrated in the earlier version with MailChimp, but we're going to go ahead and look at that again. So first off, you always need to know what type of template needs to be used. And so this may be a question you ask your clients, or maybe yourself, you know what you need. Is it a webinar? Is it a sales page? What exact type of template is it free or premium? Because remember, you have the ability to pay for templates within Leadpages as well as use the free ones. So let me pop over here. Okay, so we are looking at templates. And as in the earlier session that we talked about standard templates, you have the ability to choose whether you want to see standard templates or you want to see the drag and drop templates. And for some reason, this is, okay, here we go. Under templates, and then you have the ability to do standard or drag and drop. The 70 numbers, probably the newer 70 templates they have. I don't know how many they have in here, but they probably have several. Remember, you can look at it by most recent, highest converting. You can also filter by the type of template that you need, and you can choose whether to show free or premium. And then you have the ability to actually search if you know a specific name, right? So say for instance, let's say I want to do, I'm just going to do an opt-in. Okay, so when I click on opt-in, again, remember most recent versus highest converting. We already talked about what highest converting is. That means they are proven to be higher converting than some of the other templates in there. And so basically you can scroll through and look for one that looks like it's going to work for you. And remember, each one is going to be different, but the gist of them and how to put them together is going to be the same. So I'm just looking for a simple one. No, let's use this one. Remember, you can click preview to see it before you actually commit to using it. Okay, so you can see what this one looks like. A lot of pieces to this one. And if I decide I don't like it, I could just hit this back button and say, okay, there's way too much to that. I don't want that much information. Maybe I like this one instead. So always good to preview. Okay, so yeah, I like this one. First thing, obviously, you want to give it a name. So your screens are a little different in the drag and drop, obviously, than they are in the standard templates. Obviously, you want to be descriptive. And there we go. Okay, so over on the left, you have what are called your different widgets. So now you can actually see that you can have some ability to add to the page. One of the features of standard was that you didn't really have the ability to change the structure of the page. You could only hide things. You really couldn't add anything, right? So you can see you have all these different pieces. So over here, you have your widgets, you have your page layout, you have your page styles, and then you have your analytics and information. So first of all, your widgets, drag and drop anywhere that you want to. See how easy that is? Once you drag and drop, then you can actually click on the gears to get additional options. You can delete it. Okay, so widgets. So you have all of these little widgets that you can add. So you do have the ability to add things to a page. You can also remove things that you don't want, right? So any sections that you don't want. So here's this section. It shows you what section 1 is. From here, I can remove it if I don't want it anymore. So much more flexible, right? And so what we're going to do is we'll just take a minute and go through this. So obviously this is the text, and you can change the text however you want to. Okay, you can click in there and make changes to it. You'll notice that you get a pop-up button bar that's going to change. You can select the whole thing. You can select just specific words, right? I can change the alignment, right? I can make it different sizes. Now that affects everything. Text size, text itself. So they put everything kind of in one specific location, colors, right? And so on. And then I can add any links that I want. So I just changed that one word. So that hasn't changed very much. Then obviously here's your text that you can change. Add a hyperlink. Okay, new window, done. And when I click out of there, it goes away. And then you could also click in here and it pops up. But remember, you have the ability to delete this if you don't want it because it's an entire section, okay? So this is section number 2. You've got section style. So remember, you can click on styles here for the entire page, but you also have section styles. So this would be different sections, okay? So you could click anywhere over here under page layout to see, okay, well, what section is what? So I click on section 4, row 1, or I can add a section. So as you move through the page layout, notice how that it automatically highlights what's considered part of that section over on the actual page itself. So here is section 2. I also have row 1, so this will be row 1. I can hit this and choose section style. I can change the background color. That's kind of ugly, isn't it? Okay, obviously you can put in your own code if you know your own hex code. You can actually put an image back there if you wanted. So if I wanted to put an image behind there, I could do that. Okay. I don't know whose image it is, but that's great. I love that picture. And then you can choose the position. If it fills the whole thing, if it repeats, right? Or if it's just centered. Okay. Then you've got your padding. So they give you so much more options. And I won't spend a lot of time in here because you can play with this. So this is the padding for the background, right? If you have a border or none, okay, you can see you have this arrow border. You can have a timing control. Now, a timing control, what this allows you to do is, for instance, if you're working with a sales page, it allows you to determine when the button appears for people to buy. And that's what a timing control is, which means they have to watch something for so long before they have the ability to buy. And so that's what this is. You can turn this on, and then you can tell when does this section or button or whatever the object is, when does it show up? So I could say 90 seconds, right? Okay, and then I could collapse this. And then I have these options. I can go back to my widgets. Now, obviously, as I go along, I can save it. Okay, and I published it. Okay, and I'm going to go back here. Now, remember, we're going to talk about publishing and all the other things in the next video, but for now, we're just learning how to create the pages, and then we can see where we can publish it. Okay, so I can click update. And I know this won't be the prettiest page you've ever seen. Oops, not update. Sorry. I'm a happy clicker here. Okay, so you can see that when you go back to your list of lead pages, which is this, right? Templates takes you to where you can see the templates, but lead pages shows you all your lead pages. You can tell what type of template you're using by the image here, standard versus drag and drop, right? So I can just click on it. Okay, had a hiccup there. Now we're working. All right, now so we're back into our page, and like I said, we played with this section here. We can easily add video. I mean, you can add anything anywhere by a simple drag and drop. Okay, this gives me the option to do the video piece, right? And then I need the embed code to be able to embed this here. So I would copy and paste it, let's say from YouTube. So I'm just going to bounce over to my YouTube channel here. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm a happy clicker here. So I'm going to copy my embed code from there. I can paste it in here. Okay, and there it is. Okay, how easy is that? So, I mean, it's not the right place for it. So you have buttons, you have headlines, text, countdown. So remember the countdown is going to count down to when something can show up. You can have an image, a video, a line, a space, raw HTML code. You can enter a form. You can do social buttons, comments, a space for comments, your social buttons, progress bar, icons, image plus text, calendar plus text. So it's very simple for you to go in and drag and drop what you need. Now you have to make sure that it actually goes into a space that it can go in. So you can see that as I drag this around, there's no place for it to put it. It put it up here. Okay, so I can delete that. So if you drop it and you don't see where it goes, then you're going to need to have a look around. So let me get rid of that. So what I invite you to do is play with all these different ones, right? Headline obviously gives you a headline. Okay. And delete. Button. I know this is a really ugly page. So there's a button there, but if I want to put a button somewhere else, okay, here it is. Call to action. Okay, you can duplicate too. That's what the duplicate button, you can move it, drag and drop. Okay, so you can, if you have things on the page that you like, you can certainly drag and drop them around by simply hovering over them and then moving them around. Okay. To edit, obviously, if you click on any box, it'll allow you to edit. Here's my countdown. Now this counts down, I'm sorry, is different than the other feature. This will count down to, let's say, a sale or a webinar or something of that matter. So that's what this would be. Okay, then you've got your calendar button here. So you can show the colors. Let me change that. I mean, you could just go crazy in here. The label, let me go back here. So I could say the countdown is on this date at 1:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Okay. And now there's the countdown until that day happens. So that's what that is. And a lot of times that happens with sales or lunches or things of that nature. Okay. Now I'm not really doing a great structure here. I'm just trying to show you how to play with the page. A line. Here's a line. Again, you can change dotted dash, how fat it is, or how big it is, I should say. Okay. Colors. Forms. Okay, so here's a form. Input your call to action. Copy. Delete. So remember, when it comes to working in any kind of landing or sales pages or opt-in pages, there's a science, right? It's all about the content, not necessarily the design. You want to capture attention and you want them to take action, okay? Okay. I think I covered most of this kind of stuff, but feel free to drag around in here. Again, then you've got your sections where you can go in and you can actually rename your sections as well. You can say the action section, right? Whatever you want to do. You can also, again, go in and click on the back button or the little gears button to change your colors. Okay, you could add an image there if you wanted. And then you've got your padding. You've got whether or not there's not an arrow on this one, but you could put an arrow, and that's what this is, right? Remember, each one's going to be different. Then there's your timer control. So your timer control within a section is going to turn it off and on depending on how long you set the timer for. If you don't set a timer, then the button appears automatically. Okay. So this is for the entire page. You can show if it's small, medium, or large, how wide the section backgrounds are. Okay, if they're white or not, and then your page background. Right now it's white, but I could upload an image again if I wanted to. Right, and then you can see the cats. Well, you can't see it because it's covered by this, but you get the idea. Okay, so that's the entire page style. For page layout, okay, this will give you the page layout as well, but for the individual sections, okay, you can go under the individual sections and make changes. Now you can duplicate a section by just clicking on it. So now I got a copy, and then I can click here and I can change the name of this section. Okay. And then I can go in and make changes to the styles for this section. So every section's a little different. It depends on what the section contains. Then there are rows within each section that you can also change. So my point is you're going to want to go through the page layout and the different sections to see what options you have. I invite you to try all the different widgets that you have and where you can put those. Remember now, if you drag and drop and they don't appear, you may have to look for them. So like this section, this whole section, I don't want this duplicate section. Oops. So this section I can just trash. It's gone. All right, so you get the idea. All right, so going back to your buttons, when I click on a button, again, you get your styles, you get your link. Okay, now this you can go to a lead box, which we'll talk about later, but for now, you can actually send it to, this is the lead box that they have with this one, excuse me. So this is what this looks like. Now when the customized lead box pops up, then you can go in and remove what you don't want. You have the same options over here. Notice this, you can drag and drop all kinds of stuff into here. Okay, you can change the button. Now, when I click on the button, once again, it comes over and says, okay, well, what are we going to do? Where do you want the information to go? Now, the drag and drops are actually connecting to your lead boxes, which we're going to do next, but you can see that they're already in here. Then you've got what are called lead notifications, but you can add an integration if you don't want to do that. And we talked about integrations, right? I could do my MailChimp integration. I have to go get my key. So I'll go do that, but it's the same as you were doing previously when it came to integrating with MailChimp. Let me log in here. And go get my PI key. Oh, where's it at? There it is. Okay, so I can copy that one and connect it. So if you're not using the actual lead boxes within here, you can connect to another option, which is what we did here. Okay, and you can see you can close out or you can go back. Okay, so now I've got my integrations. Okay, so my email marketing service is MailChimp. Now I'm in MailChimp. Here's where it brings me the list where this goes to. So in other words, when they click on the button, what does it do? Now I know it says download, but my point is that you can have them download something. You can have them be added to your list, all of those kinds of things. So I can go in here and just say my free download. Now choose what you want information to do. Now remember, this is part of the lead boxes, which we'll come back to. And then I'm going to hit update. So the difference in here is that you can actually save your page without having to worry about connecting your buttons first like you do on a standard template. So this is isn't it a beautiful? Beautiful. Okay. So this is your lead box layout. Okay. This is where I can go in and change the colors and all that kind of stuff. I can add a section. Okay. And closing that and coming back up here. So my best advice is to play. Every template's going to be different, but just so you can get the idea of how everything goes together. Now the lead boxes part, we're going to come back and revisit. This, I just want you to get familiar with templates. We're going to go through the bells and whistles of lead boxes and those type of things in the next session. Okay, so make sure, excuse me, that you hit update whenever you make a change. Okay. And we'll kind of go from there. Now to get back, I can just hit this button right here, take me back out. And there it is. Okay, so anytime you want to edit it, you can simply click on the name. You can also edit from the pencil here as well. Okay, so bouncing back over. Hey, every template's different. You can, in here you can hide items, but you can also delete items and you can also add items as well. So hidden is not necessarily the true term when it comes to drag and drop, but it is hidden for standard, but you can delete and move and duplicate very easily in the drag and drop feature. Every template is different, so depending on the template you choose, and you could basically look for a template that has most of the things that you want and then make changes to it. We looked at the call to action. We're going to look at lead boxes next, but we did do an integration with MailChimp, so you can remember how that works. And so your homework would be to create a lead page using one of the drag and drop templates, choose what you want, update the contents and styles, really take some time to play with it, and go ahead and integrate with MailChimp. now that it's set up. Use lipsum.com and brand it, but the standard templates are much simpler. The drag and drops are easy, but there's just so many features to it. So I really invite you to take some time to play with that. Okay. So if you need help, feel free to click on the help button in the upper right-hand corner. Send us an email, members@techiementor.com. Jump over to our private Facebook group or feel free to comment below. And I'll see you in our next section. Bye.